Hello, everyone,
Hello.
and welcome to this evening's live stream from Propulsion Swimming. I'm your host, Scott, and with me, as always, is my good friend, Daniel. How you doing, Dan?
Yeah, I'm very good. How's things with you today?
Yeah, good. So kick things off. If anyone hasn't joined us before on a live stream, what we are doing today is we are giving you guys a live reaction, an alternative commentary, and just a bit of a rundown of general British swimming as the British Swimming Invitational meet goes on. We do not have the live stream. If you're looking for that, it is in the description of this video, with the idea being that we kind of run alongside that live stream. We give you something a bit different from the regular commentary that is being provided.
Yeah.
We don't have permission to use the live stream within this. If we could, we obviously would give that to you guys. But today we've got a lot of topics to cover and a hell of a lot of races. There's 22 finals tonight.
Well, I think we finished yesterday at around about 7, didn't we? Just after 7. And
Yeah.
I think this one's going to go to at least half 7 based on there's so many races. I think, what was it, 22 races you said to me or something along those lines?
Yeah, something like that.
Including a 1500 as well. I mean, that's a good 15, 16, 17 minutes. So, yes, could be a long one. I don't mind it.
So obviously we'll provide you guys with a commentary to the races. We've got all the PBs in front of us, all the British records, all that usual jazz. But obviously during the 1500, we've got other topics that we can cover.
There's quite a few pops up on Twitter actually, but we'll get to that when the 1500 is on and going.
Yeah. So as we did yesterday, at the end of this live stream, or kind of during it, if there's a natural pause, we will answer any questions or comments that you guys have in the chat section of this YouTube video. So if you do want to leave any comments, just feel free, go ahead. We will answer anything and everything about swimming and maybe a little bit in between if there is anyone who is interested in that sort of stuff.
We've said some very odd stories, which I wouldn't expect most people to ask. I think yesterday we had a question about our superstitions, which ended up being pretty boring answers, didn't it, in the end?
Yeah, but not as exciting as people hoped.
No, but we've had funny stories about most embarrassing stories as well. So there is plenty to tell. So fire away with those questions. We're happy to answer.
So I think before the swimming kicks off at 5:30, what we will do is we'll explain to people about Propulsion Swimming in case anyone hasn't listened to our podcast before or looked at any of our YouTube videos. So me and Dan set up Propulsion Swimming about 15 months ago now.
It was about that, yeah.
Yeah, with the idea that British swimming, in our eyes, really wasn't getting the publicity and a platform that it deserves to grow on. British swimming do a great job, but in the world of YouTube, podcasting, kind of the non-traditional media forms, we thought we could do a really good job at that. I have some experience on YouTube. Dan is a former elite swimmer. You swam at the elite squad at Cardiff.
I did.
So you have a good background within swimming. I finished swimming when I was 16, but I can kind of come at things from a very different kind of fan, let's say.
A fan angle, yeah. Well, of course, you were more sprint-based as well, so you have an understanding of the mental side of what it takes to not mess up on a 50-meter sprint, basically, because you're not allowed any sort of mistake whatsoever. Yeah. But in terms of what we want to achieve from Propulsion Swimming, I think I've said it before, where we kind of compare it to what athletics does. So on things like BBC Sport, there's loads of articles about the athletics, and yet I think that we've got more superstars in our sport, and yet we have no articles about swimming whatsoever. And that was mainly in my thoughts, that was the reason why I wanted to start Propulsion, because it's just not getting the publicity it deserves, because these guys and girls are putting in so many hours, not just in the pool but also in the gym as well, and they're not getting the credit for it seems. So that's the reason why we're doing it.
And on our podcast, we have spoken to up-and-coming British swimmers like Abby Wood, Joe Litchfield, Jay Lelliott. We've spoken to Hannah Miley. This week, we spoke to Jazz Carling. I think we're giving these guys, it's not about us. If you listen to our podcast, we are kind of giving you guys their insight.
Yeah, basically. Like you said, we spoke to Jazz Carling and Lauren Quigley, two kind of different swimmers, because obviously Jazz was more of a distance swimmer and Lauren was more of a sprinter. So there's two different sides of it, and we're just picking their brains basically of what it was like to be an elite athlete and what their advice would be to the next generation of swimmers coming through, basically.
Yeah, and basically, if the younger generations come over onto our YouTube channel, they can then learn about different topics. We've done like open water recovery, and then we've done simple things like the swordfish drill. We're basically trying to cover all bases and provide this platform for British swimming that really needs to be created, because it's kind of fallen behind slightly in the world of social media and YouTube.
Yes, I think we've said it before as well, that we don't just cater to the elite. It is literally from the learn to swim level, from the 3-year-olds, let's say, right the way through to that elite level, everything in between, including triathlon, open water, etc., etc. Yeah.
Okay, so swimming is due to start in Manchester in a couple of minutes' time. Dan, why don't you run down the races that are on offer today?
Well, better be quick because they're walking out. So we're starting off with the 400 IM, the women's 400 IM. Then we've got the men's 1500. We've then got the men's 50 back, the women's 200 free, the men's 200 IM, the women's 100 backstroke, the men's 50 breaststroke, women's 50 fly, men's 100 front crawl, women's 100 breaststroke, finally ending up with the men's 200 fly. Was that quick enough for you?
You did good. No stumbles either. And there's some really, really good races later on in the day that we are going to pay really close attention to. Some rising stars in British swimming.
Oh, honestly, there is. And it's not just in one single event as well. I mean, we've got quite a good varied amount of talent across all the events at the moment.
Yeah.
Which is great to see. I mean, this is what we need, really. So, yeah.
Okay, so first race in the water is the women's 400 IM. Dan, why don't you go through the start list? Because we do have a Commonwealth champion in the water.
We do. Well, if I start with the lanes then. So lane 2. So we haven't got any outside lanes, and lanes 1 and 8, they're empty. Lane 2 is Michaela Glenister. Lane 3 is Freya Colbert. 4 is Amy Wilmot, like you say, is the Commonwealth champion from 2018. Lane 5 is Lily Booker. 6 is Katie Shanahan. And lane 7 is Isabel Goodwin. So I do kind of expect the Commonwealth champion from 2018 to be ahead. She was quite far ahead from this morning, actually.
5 seconds ahead of the nearest swimmer, wasn't she?
Yes, yeah. I don't want to ignore her, obviously, but if we look past her a little bit, the swimmers to look out for here is Lily Booker. She has a very good breaststroke, so expect her to come through on the breaststroke. And Freya Colbert's very strong. She's good at the distance freestyles as well, so she'll have the stamina at the end to push for those the top 3 places.
Yeah, and we do already have an improvement on yesterday's live stream because British Swimming kindly have provided a time clock today.
Oh, that wasn't there this morning. It was
that will help us massively.
It will, especially for the 1500. We can actually count a little bit as well.
So, what's a good time for these girls to hit for the 400 IM? I know a lot of their PBs around the 4:45 mark. Are you looking below that or anything near that at this kind of stage in the season?
I would say anything 450 based would be pretty solid. I mean, Amy this morning went 447. I would be pretty happy with that, although her PB is 433. So if you weigh it up, that's 14 seconds off. So if you look at it from that sort of side of it, it's not great at all. But again, she did compete with London Raw at the ISL. So I wouldn't say she needs to blow away any cobwebs as such. But of course, she hasn't raced long course, which is a big difference, especially for a 400 IM. So that's probably the experience she's trying to get from this, really, just to get used to it again.
Now, you mentioned yesterday that these sort of distance swimmers, they will still be training hard even with trials on the horizon.
Yes, yeah. I'm basically just going to repeat what I say. I think
go for it.
With trials being a month away, these distance swimmers still need the block of work going in. They don't need to be tapering just yet. I'd probably say another week and a half of hard work before they taper down, because these distance swimmers aren't as big as these sprinters. The sprinters are much more bulkier, which means their muscles take longer to recover just because of the natural size. But because these guys are more lean, the recovery isn't as long. It's a lot quicker.
Yeah,
so that's the reason why.
And because they haven't started their taper yet, they're likely to be hitting the slower times. Let's say they're not going to be nearer their PBs. So a good example was yesterday. I said the 50 freestyle and the 50s, the swimmers are going to be more likely to be hitting personal bests. And Matt Richards did that in the 50 freestyle because they may have already started tapering for trials.
Yes, and it's a great example of what you've just given, actually. Ben Proud is probably another one, although he's off his PB. He did he competed in 100 free, but did a 50-meter split, didn't he? 21.9 in the end, which is 0.2 off what you went yesterday. So, it's going in the right direction. But those sprinters should be just about maybe starting their taper now, maybe a couple of, well, this might be the last week of hard work, I would say, before it starts to really come down.
So in the water right now, we can see Amy Wilmot is understandably quite a distance ahead. But as you said, Lily Booker, this is the leg to look out for her breaststroke, and she has pulled away from the race.
Yes, she's got a lovely breaststroke, actually. Very similar to Molly Renshaw in terms of a very nice long glide. She keeps her stroke very narrow, very streamlined, keeps drag to a minimum. And she doesn't, there's no sort of, breaststroke is the least streamlined stroke. So the idea is to be as streamlined as possible for as long as possible, basically. Obviously, it's going to be impossible because your legs do have to come out, or your feet have to come out, and your arms are going to go out wide. So you kind of want to be out of streamline as quickly as possible. So you perform it out sweep and then in sweep as fast as you can, which is what Molly's very good at, and so is Lily as well. So that's the reason why she's so good at it. And she's actually catching Amy up there.
She has, yeah. She's closed the distance dramatically there.
Very good swim.
I would still say Amy Wilmot is going to win this, quite obviously. But obviously she's now got a bit of a target. She's got something to swim to, Lily, which is obviously going to drag her along to a personal best. It would be great if there was someone almost racing with her. That's always going to make you swim faster. But at the same point, she got so close on that breaststroke leg. You would have hoped that there would a target to aim for. But Amy does look like she's pulling away here.
Well, I mean, you've got to remember that Lily is still very young. She's swimming at Millfield and still not in, she's an elite swimmer, but not in the same category as a Commonwealth champion, for example. So there is sort of levels to the game, I guess. And Amy Wilmot is one of the best in the world at this event. So you can't push Lily Booker down because that she's so far behind. I mean, Amy Wilmot's just a very, very good swimmer at this event.
She's got a good pedigree, hasn't she?
She has got very good pedigree, and she's going to go sub 440 here, which is excellent work.
Yeah.
Is that 438 or 39? That's 39. A very good time. Yeah.
And then if Lily Booker can go under 450, that's a good swim as well.
I would say so, yeah.
There you go, 447, lovely.
And then Freya, of course, came through, like I was saying, with the stamina base from her distance freestyle swims. So there you go, 3 swimmers under 450 is, I'd be pretty happy with that. And of course, Amy there is only 6 seconds off her PB. Vast improvement from this morning. So of course, this is a talking point that we're going to talk about, saying, I don't know why people or swimmers are taking it slow in the heats.
We'll get onto that. We've got a 1500 to come, and we are going to cover a lot of topics in that 1500 because obviously there's only so much swimming we can talk about with a 1500. We'd love to be a bit boring and break down the splits, but you can listen to the other commentary for that. What we're going to do during the 1500 is cover the selection criteria for this meet to our understanding, as well as understanding why there were such slow swims this morning in the heats.
Well, yeah, I mean, you basically sort of said it without me actually going into it more and more. So yes, they're a good couple of topics we're going to talk about. Of course, we'll do it during the 1500. We, like you say, we could be boring and just talk about the splits, but we'd just be robotic saying that. Whereas it's going to be on your screens on the other live stream anyway. So yeah.
Well, let's preview the 1500 before we do jump into those topics, because we do have a former British swimmer in the water in Daniel Jervis. He was very impressive in the 400 freestyle yesterday.
Yep, went sub 350.
If anything, this is his better event.
Well, he's a Commonwealth champion for this event.
Commonwealth silver.
Silver, that's right. Sorry, yeah, silver in 2018. So do expect him to be, I don't know, probably a good 25 meters, maybe not that far actually, maybe 20, 15 meters ahead of the rest of the field. But yeah, I would say, yeah, he's on form. I mean, going sub 350 for 400 is that's in the world class bracket, which I was sort of saying the other day. Yesterday,
yeah, his personal best is actually really close to David Davis's, which is the British record.
Yeah,
there's honestly no chance he gets near that today. Like we've said at the start of the stream, distance swimmers are still training hard. They're in a hard block of training. So I think if he goes anywhere below 15 minutes, I think that's a good swim.
Yeah, I'm not even sure he sort of breaks 15 actually, in my opinion. I think he will be going somewhere around the 15:05 mark, I would sort of say. So something along those sort of lines. But if anyone else can get around the 15:10, 15:15, then you're looking at a very good swim.
So you used to swim freestyle. You did 200 and 400. Did you ever do a 1500?
I had to do you remember when the bad cacks were happening? is it bad cats? Is that what have I got that right?
I have no idea.
You know, when you were under 14 and you had to earn all these sort of different points because you have to enter all these different events. I can't remember what it is. It's like a Form 200 and a 200 free, and then I can't remember what it was, but it was something like that. That's the reason why I had to do it. You can research if you want in the background, but I had to do it for that, and I just found it very boring. I couldn't get my head around it. I mean, 400's okay because you can do a little bit of in my head I could do the right tactics, and you had to do a certain certain tactics, whereas 1500, I don't know, and
it's a lot of stroke counting, isn't it? 1500, you want to sit on a steady pace through the whole race.
Yes, yeah.
A perfect example is Katie Ledecky, where for the whole 1500s she will basically keep the whole pace this whole way through.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's what Dan Jervis would be doing as well once he comes off his hard work cycle and when he gets into the tapering sort of mode. I think he'll try to do his very best at holding at the same time per 100. But yeah, because he's not tapered and rested, he will not be able to hold the same time of, I don't know, for example, 59 seconds per 100. He'll be at the minute mark or just over a minute, something along those lines, I would have thought.
And when you're in the water and you're looking to hold a certain 100 pace, it's all about stroke count, isn't it? You're aiming for a certain number of strokes a length, and that will give you a good guide that you're hitting that pace.
Well, this is where, do you remember when you asked me what the hardest set I've ever done is? And I said the 3100's best average.
Yeah.
And it's very funny that Jazz Carlin said the same thing when we spoke to her the other day. And that's just, it's a good practice for a 1500 sort of swim or a distance freestyle sort of swim because you're holding the best time, and that's the best pacing test set that you could do, really. Yeah. And then you can incorporate stroke counts and stroke rate into it, like you were saying as well. Yeah.
Okay, so they're well underway now in the 1500. We've got a bit of time. We've probably got about 14 minutes to cover here.
Something like that, I would have said. Yep.
On Twitter this morning, there was a little bit, I wouldn't say an uproar, but a confusion about the selection policy for this meet. Now, this is to our basic understanding from speaking to swimmers who are at the meet. We haven't spoken to everyone. We haven't spoken to British Swimming. I'll put that out there. But right now, to be an elite swimmer in Britain, you have to be training at one of the bubble squads, I believe, which is at Bath, Loughborough, and other big venues, Stirling, Edinburgh University. These are the pools that have had dispensation from the government to stay open.
They're like the ITCs. They will used to be called basically. The ITCs. Yeah.
Now, I don't think all of the swimmers there are on elite funding. There will be ones there who were part of Loughborough Swimming and have been allowed to continue training. And whether that's to their own cost, I'm not quite sure. But there are swimmers who were on funding and not at these ITCs who have been put into this bubble squad. So I know the Bath squad has been extended from 16 swimmers to 24. They have an extra 8-man squad who are trained by a certain coach, and they will get their own allotted time in the pool.
Yeah.
Now, if you are part of these bubble squads and you're training in, let's say this is called the elite program, then you are allowed to be invited to this meet because you're in a COVID bubble environment. That's my understanding.
And it kind of makes sense if we include the COVID measures in place. You can't have everyone from all over the country coming in because then it's more of a risk, isn't it? A bit of a hazard to health. I think that's what they've based it on, yeah.
Yeah, so they are all staying at one hotel in Manchester. They all got tested before they go into that hotel. When they are in their bubble squads, they have to get tested constantly. And if anyone wants to listen about this, we did do an interview with Matt Richards on our podcast, and he kind of went through the measures that he's having to do to go to training right now.
Yes, yeah. I don't think it's easy. Well, it's not easy for anyone. Let's face it. These guys in the water are very lucky to be there.
They all know that as well. Yeah,
they all know that, and I think they really do appreciate the fact that they are able to swim at this competition. So I don't think there should be anything against these swimmers. It's just sort of the way it is at the moment. It will improve, obviously, when everything does open back up again, hopefully in April 12th. But then it's the senior swimmers that then miss out till May, apparently. So unless it changes, I'm not so sure.
Yeah. So obviously it's a big disappointment not to see more club swimmers in this environment. There are swimmers who are on their own merit who probably would qualify for a final. We've seen times that parents have posted that they may have qualified for a final tonight. But in British swimming's eyes, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're the medal hope for Tokyo, I believe. I believe they are trying to get the squad who they think are going to Tokyo racing. Basically, the squad is almost outlined already.
I think we need to remember that sport is an entertainment sort of show. So if you were watching the live stream like we are now, but there's only 2 or 3 people in the water, it would turn people off, wouldn't it? It wouldn't be much of a show. And so you do kind of have to fill the pool. We've moaned about it because there's been finals where there's only been 1 or 2 swimmers in the water.
Which there isn't tonight.
Which there isn't, which is great. Yeah. But imagine if it was like that for the heats as well as the finals. Yeah. We'd be on such a negative sort of mindset. So I think that's part of the reason as well, to fill the pool, to make sure it looks better for people watching on.
Yeah, and that kind of goes on to another point that was brought up on Twitter to us, which is the slow times this morning, because there were a lot of slow swims. And as you say, they were trying to fill the pool with swimmers as best as possible, so that people get race experience if they are in this elite program. Racing, basically. Don't just turn up to this meet and do 1 race. They are trying to get people doing at least 1 or 2 races a day, even if it's not their preferred event. Yeah. And a few of the swimmers will be blowing out cobwebs. They haven't raced for a year. There will be swimmers who are traditionally breaststrokers who are suddenly doing a 50 freestyle because they want to blow out some cobwebs, or 100 freestyle. And usually at an open meet or at British Champs, that would have kind of gone completely unnoticed. No one would have picked up on that. They would have been in the slowest heat and no one would have paid attention. But because at this meet there is such a small selection of swimmers, their slow times are really standing out and being brought to attention, unfortunately, on Twitter. I think it's a little unfair to single out slow swims. I think that's the negativity I don't like to see in the sport.
I was going to say, it's not very good for the sport. I mean, the whole idea is we want to try and promote positivity. And by saying these negative things about, you got to remember that some of these swimmers are in their late teenage years. You know? So, they're only just adults, if you want to call them that. So it could affect them mentally, which is god awful, which we don't need, especially with this COVID as well. Mental health is on a huge decline at the moment, and the last thing they want to be reading on Twitter is how they've just performed really badly at their first meet in the last year.
12 months,
so that's the last thing they need to be reading. Ideally, let's not be negative about it.
Is the other angle that you'll see later on in the 200 meters butterfly, where there isn't enough swimmers. So in the heats this morning, I believe there was 6 people, and 6 people therefore know that they are in the final this evening. Now, what we saw this morning in the case of Jimmy Guy was that they took their foot off the gas, basically. His PB is a 155 and
203.
He did a 203. So he's got no competition at all. So he has taken that mindset where he's resting this morning. And this is something that you actually disagree with, Dan.
I do, yeah. If I very quickly change subjects, so we're at the halfway mark. Dan Jervis has just gone under 8 minutes. So actually he's right on top of his pacing. He's hitting under a minute every 100. I do expect him to go off the pace slightly. So I think the estimation I have of 15:05 is going to be about right, but we'll see. He might pick it up towards the end. We'll see how hard he's been working in training. But yes, going back to the heats, obviously they know they're going to be making a final, so in their heads they don't have to swim fast because they know they can just swim fast later on tonight. I disagree with it. I think it's a good chance to swim both races as fast as you can, because you just never know. You're going to be swimming twice, guaranteed. And it's not like there's any massive medals on the line. If we're talking Worlds, Commonwealth, Olympics, those sort of major international meets, then yes, by all means, go slow in the heats to save yourself for the semis and the finals, etc.
Well, if you know you're going to qualify.
If you're a PT or, Dressel or whoever, the top dogs, then yes, you can take it a bit more steady. But at this sort of meets, I would use this opportunity to max every sort of race that you do. Even though if you are fatigued, you can use it as a good training session, which we've also mentioned. It's like a good lactic tolerance sort of session, isn't it? So I'd be pushing it hard, even if it's a 400 IM or 400 free. Push it hard and see where you are in your training.
Because some of these swimmers also might need the experience of racing through the rounds. You want to know that your body can do that.
Exactly.
So it might be the case that Jimmy Guy, his 2:03, I doubt that makes an Olympic semi-final. So
I can't think of the top of my head, but doubtful.
But you would hope other swimmers, for example, I know we've just seen a comment saying Kathleen Dawson set the best time in the world this morning. That's because she took the heat seriously. She went for it. Yeah. That's the way that obviously me and Dan would advise swimmers to be racing right now. Absolutely. Because you need to know that you can race hard to go through the heats, because Kathleen Dawson, with all due respect, is going to have to race hard at the heats at the Olympics. So she's using this meet as experience to show that she can do it.
Well, now she knows exactly where she is in terms of her training and in terms of her mental preparation in the heat swim. Whereas now she can use what she's now learnt from that heat swim and then put it into the final. Whereas if you take Jimmy Guy, for example, he will only learn that from the final. Yeah. So it kind of gives Kathleen Dawson as a good example there. I'm glad that comment turned up, actually. It's a great example that she can now use what she's learned into the final and then sort of progress more, if that makes sense. So that's the way that's the way I would do it. So all credits to Kathleen Dawson. She did swim well earlier.
Yeah, she did. She swam well yesterday as well, setting UPB in the 50 back. Yeah. I do think she's on course to go to Tokyo and be a good swim. So I hope that kind of explains to everyone why there were some slow swims this morning and why certain swimmers aren't at this meet. I hope that's to the best of our understanding. If you have any comments or questions, you can email them to us. We have some good contacts now in the world of swimming where we could approach them and ask for a more detailed breakdown and bring that to you guys in a podcast. But hopefully that just, I know British Swimming haven't done an announcement for the selection criteria at all. And luckily enough, we have spoken to some swimmers who have given us a good enough guide.
Yes, I mean, we're going off what other swimmers have said, not what British Swimming has said. So we don't know anything behind the scenes from them. We're just going off swimmers' experience and know-how and, that sort of side of it. So that's the best of our ability. It might be completely wrong. And if that's the case, and we put our hands up, then that's it.
I tell you what, while the 1500 is still, how far away are we?
We've got 300 meters to go.
300 meters. There is another very interesting kind of comment that we didn't address ourselves. The finals in Tokyo are in the mornings.
Yep.
So why not race fast in the morning?
Another fantastic reason. And I think I remember saying it earlier to you. I don't know if I've told everyone else. But when Jimmy Guy came and trained at Cardiff for a week or so, I remember him saying that some of his hardest sessions, or one of his hardest sessions, was doing, what was it? I think it was 3 1000s max, basically, treating it as a heat swim, and then doing the exact same session in the evening of the same day, trying to better his times. Ooh. And that's all down to trying to get used to doing the heats in the morning, finals in the afternoon. And it's another fantastic example, actually, of the reason why you should be sprinting both heats and finals, especially at this particular meet.
So we've got a nice close-up now of Daniel Jervis's stroke. You're a freestyler and a bit of a technician when it comes through it, it. Looking good? Looking smooth at this point? 200 to go?
It's looking smooth. I would say it's looking a little bit short, but I suppose that's kind of normal at the end of a 1500. I mean, he's going to be in some sort of pain. His aerobic capacity and his aerobic engine is quite phenomenal. Yes. He's got this gallop stroke, which usually kind of wears you out quite quickly. Yeah. And he's been using a constant leg kick. I wouldn't say he's gone properly to his legs, but he's using it for balance and maybe a little bit of propulsion as well, because we're getting towards the end of the length. But the majority of the 1500 he'd be using it for balance. Katie Ledecky is a fantastic example. She barely uses her legs for the majority, kind of lets them sort of flail. But that's mainly for balance and rotation. So got a very hip-driven stroke. But for Dan Jervis, very, very similar stroke. He keeps very high at the water. Every time he uses his right arm, all of his back comes out of the water. So that's the whole aim of swimming, is to be as high as you can in the water. And that's why his stroke is so efficient.
Turn in on a 14:02. Does he go under 15?
I don't think so, no. Sorry for you, sir.
You don't think he comes back on a 57?
It's quite tough.
You did say a 15:05. So if you've called that top top marks do you?
Well, it's not going to be. He's going to be slightly under. He's going to be 15:02 or something along those lines. So it's not too far away.
That's a good swim then.
Oh, I'd be happy with it. Yeah,
And-
especially at this point in the season.
And these 1500 swimmers, this is fastest heat wins. So there was no heat this morning. This is their first 1500.
Yes, yeah. And actually, it's the other swimmers that aren't doing as well as that. Well, Dan is obviously the form swimmer at the moment.
Yeah.
I know Toby Robinson is more suited to the open water sort of side of it, isn't he? Have I got that right in saying that?
Pass.
Oh, I think I'm right. I'm not so sure about it.
Our two British open water swimmers raced today, actually, in Doha.
Yes, no, we need to say that as well. Well, Dan Jervis just finished 15:02.43. Yeah, I'd be pretty happy with that. Even though his PB is 15, 16 seconds quicker than that. As of right now, as I've sort of been saying, he'd be in a hard training block right now. So I'd be pretty stoked with that, actually. Toby Robinson coming in at 15:24.2. So he's about 20 seconds off. Luke Turley, 15:29.41.
13 seconds off his PB.
Yeah. But if you look at it, based off that, then everyone is about 15 seconds off their PB, aren't they? Roughly.
Yeah,
So they're all in the same sort of position training wise.
Yeah.
William Bell, 15:44, sorry. So again, the same sort of margin. Well, he's a bit more off. He's 20 seconds off. But it's a tough one, 1500, isn't it? I mean, I've never enjoyed doing 1500. Never.
Well, don't talk to me about it.
Did you race it once, twice?
No, never. I can't count that high. I miscounted on a 200 before.
Have you? Well, the commentator did that last month. Do you remember?
It wasn't long course; it was short course. I put that out there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So difficult to miscount 200 long course. Jeez, I mean, you got to be losing your mind.
Yeah.
Josh Williams finishes a 16:22.
So PB plus 15 as well. 15. So they're all around the same sort of mark in terms of their PBs.
Yes, yeah. So I'd be pretty happy with that, actually. If you're plus 15, so if you kind of sum up, you're a second off per 100.
Yeah.
If you put it like that, even though 15 seconds sounds like a lot overall, when you say it's a second off per 100, it doesn't sound so bad in the end. So it's good swims, I'd think. Yeah.
So while we wait for the 50 back to come, we better give a shout out to the British swimmers who have raced over in Doha today.
Yes.
There were some really, really good performances. One of them is a friend of the podcast and a previous guest, Hector Pardo, finished 7th in a world-class field. There were Olympic medalists there. There was Paltroneri there. And then Alice Deering also finished 12th in the women's race. So some really, really good results for British open water swimming.
Well, based off that, those two are guaranteed their place at Tokyo. But
they are, yeah.
I don't want to jinx it, but they're looking pretty good for cementing their place at Tokyo, which is great. I don't know if you saw, there's like a little clip at the end of the race for when Hector finishes. It's amazing that you can do a 10K race and yet they all finish within 15 seconds of each other. It's quite incredible. So, but 7th place for Hector, 12th was it 12? Did you say for Alice? Yeah, amazing swims. Amazing swims.
So I think the qualifying event for Tokyo is in May.
Yes, yeah. Right at the end of May, I think it's the 30th. I think it is. Well, it's that weekend anyway. Yeah. High hopes there. High hopes.
So we have the 50 backstroke in the water, and I believe there was a British record this morning in it.
I believe so. That's the reading I've got of it. Rhys Dunn went 28.3 this morning. So yes, beating the British record, which was formerly Jordan Catchpole's of 28.6.
It was in lane 3.
Jordan Catchpole's in lane 3.
Yeah. No. That's what I mean. Yeah. So
I see.
This actually should be a really, really good race.
Yeah, well, they're all S14 as well, so there's nothing to do with points, although there is points involved, but it's all about who gets their hand on the wall first, as they're all in the same category. Classification,
they're all sub 29 swimmers. They all went sub 29 earlier.
Yep.
So I'm excited to see this race, actually. I really am.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't be, if I were Jordan Catchpole, I wouldn't be too happy with my British record disappearing. Seeing so the guy on my right has just broken it. So hopefully they spur each other on to.
Well, both of them are in really good form. Both of them are in good form. Between them, they've broken multiple British records over the past month.
Yeah. And I think the Rhys Dunn has got the slightly better of everyone in the pool, actually, just because of the underwater work, which, of course, is vital over a 50 meter.
Yeah,
But it's all very close. Rhys Dunn is going to come first here.
I think he will.
Looking at the
He
clock.
break the British record again. Oh, he's gone 27.
No, 28.2, which he has then.
It is a British record. And in fact, both of the other guys broke the previous British record as well.
Yeah, fantastic. I know. Actually, I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
That is some great depth we have in backstroke swimming.
So the 3 swimmers, 3 PBs, and a British record. Well, it doesn't get much better than that. That's an awesome swim. An awesome swim. And just think, Jordan Catchpole went 28.5, so he PB'd. I wouldn't say he had the best of starts. So that time could come down. But Rhys Dunn, fantastic swim there. New British record. Again, twice in one day.
Now, while we talk about not the best of starts, yesterday there was a big slip in the 200 backstroke from Brodie Williams, wasn't there?
Yes, and it was such a shame, actually. He ended up swimming, I think it was 2:02 in a 200 backstroke in the end, which is actually a very respectable time, especially when you slip.
It was a massive shame he did slip, but we kind of talked about it and said maybe it's the pressure off. As soon as it happened, we were like, well, right now you just concentrate on your splits for the back half of it.
Yeah, and it looks like that's what he did in the end. Why they slipped, I've got no idea, because they've now got these ledges, which is not, we didn't have that back when we swam, and it should help improve grip.
Maybe it just wasn't set up properly by whoever put it in, but who knows?
That's up to the swimmers. The swimmers sort of set that up, So I don't know. We can't speculate because we've got no idea. But yeah, it's a shame people are slipping. We don't want to see any of that, really, even though that was one of my funny stories for my most embarrassing moments. But no one wants to see it, especially when it gets to the racing side.
But it was still a really impressive swim.
Oh, yes, it was. Yeah.
I'd love to see what time he would have gone, actually, had he not slipped.
Well, we can only speculate again, can't we? But I would have thought very close to the 2-minute mark, maybe even under. Who knows? But yeah, it's a big shame. As soon as Luke Greenbank was next to him as well. But anyway,
so we've got four swimmers in the water for the 50 back. Not a full field because this isn't an Olympic event.
Yeah.
So this race won't be happening at trials. There are 3 of them who should go the 26 mark, hopefully under 26 for Nicholas Pyle.
Yeah, he swam really well this morning, actually, 26.3, and he had a really good start. And yet again, he's had another good start, but it's going to be a blanket finish here. Who gets their hand on the wall first? 26.4. So everyone hit the 26 mark, apart from Jack. What did Jack go this morning? So Jack's gone quicker he's gone quicker tonight than he did this morning by quite a big margin, actually. 0.8.
0.8 is a very good improvement over a 50.
Oh, very big, very good. I think, did they all go quicker? I don't know if Nick Pyle did.
No, he went slightly slower, I believe. Yeah, slightly slower.
But he did look very good this morning. He did.
Like I explained yesterday, in a 50 race, that isn't uncommon to go slower than your heat swim because the pressure's on in the heat swim. Even though this isn't a final of massive merit, you might still be slipping the water.
Yeah, I mean, it's all good race practice, as we always keep banging on about. So the more you get in racing, the more experience you gain and the more knowledge you get from it, I suppose.
Exactly. Right, they are coming quick and fast now, aren't they?
They are rattling through, so we can't have too much diddle daddle. 200 free is next for the women. So we've got 3 races of this, haven't we? Because I think there's a Paris swim, then we've got a B final and an A final.
Yeah.
But we said that at the very beginning, there's so many races, they're probably trying to get through them as fast as they can.
Yeah, I don't see us finishing by 7:00, really. But
no,
we will see. So in the water now, we do have 3 out of 3 world medalists.
We do. Well, Louise Fidders is the world champ at 100 breaststroke. We've got Zara Maluli, who is the freestyle specialist. She won silver in the 50 free and bronze at the 100 free. And then we've got Tony Shaw, who again is a freestyle specialist, but more suited maybe to the 400, where she won silver at the Worlds in 2019. So it could be a pretty good race here, actually. They are they're all in different classifications.
But their heats time this morning were all within 2 seconds of each other, even if a few PBs are a bit faster than others. So I'm looking at our cheat sheet here, and Zara Maluli actually did a PB this morning.
Yes. Yeah. And actually, probably should have mentioned it earlier, but that would be a British record because it was her record back in 2017 beforehand.
Oh, very nice, very nice. So we
So-
might see another British record broken in the para swimming tonight again.
That would be ideal, wouldn't it? That would be ideal. I mean, Tony
They're
Shaw's not
going
too
quick and
far away.
fast recently.
Yeah, Tony Shaw's not too far away from the British record in this event either. So a lot to be swimming for here, and the fact that they're all doing very similar times, they can push each other on.
Yeah.
So it's great, especially for these para swimmers. They need this.
Yeah. So Louise Fidesz is the class of the field in terms of time. So her PB is a 2:09 from what I'm reading.
Yes. Yeah.
Which you would hope that means she drags along these other two British records.
I would like to think that way, yeah. And it looks that way at the moment. I mean, Zara's being dragged along by Louise and actually maybe even taking the lead here as well. And then you've got the S9 swimmer in Tony Shaw. If she's able to stay on the feet of Zara or even get onto the hip of her, then we're looking at some very quick times indeed.
It's something we've not seen enough in the Manchester International and this meet yesterday. A lot of these para swimmers were swimming by themselves, and it's really good finally to see some competition for them because competition brings out the best results.
Oh, it really does. I mean, we use the example of ISL. The more they race, I mean, they were racing twice a week, maybe something along those lines over the course. Oh no, every week they were racing. Sorry,
ISL. They were doing like 5 or 6 events each.
Yeah, with barely any break in between. And because of that, we spoke to Abby Woods during that ISL, and she actually thrives off that because there's no time for thinking in between races. It's literally go 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 go.
Yeah,
and she benefited off that.
Oh, I tell you what, we've got a massive British record.
Oh my god, we've got a huge one. 2:13.3, so that's 2 seconds, nearly a full 2 seconds quicker.
Wow, what a swim
this morning. Tony Shaw, just off the British record, I believe. Let me just double check that. 2:16.2.
Just off it by 0.2, but she has swam faster than this morning, and I think a new personal best as well.
I would believe so. Yeah. That's a fantastic swim from Zara Maluli. Wow,
that's a monster swim.
Wow, that was a monster swim.
I hope the alternative commentary are really bigging that up. I really do.
I hope so. I haven't. I've got it on my phone here, but I've got it on mute.
Well, no, I'm not listening.
No,
that's the whole point of this.
Yeah, but that's a fantastic swim, and I think that's mainly because of the competition that they were racing against.
Exactly. It proves what we've been saying so many times.
Yeah. So hopefully when all this COVID stuff goes away and then we can get more para swimmers in, well, not just para swimmers, able body as well, of the very best in the country, then hopefully, fingers crossed, we will be looking very good. But we'll see. Right, second race of the 200 females, the women's 200 free. We got a B final, yes.
So we have a B final because there were so many competitors racing, which is rare to see.
Well, I mean, the 200 free is a blue ribbon event, so in theory, everyone should be able to do a pretty decent 200 free. That's the sort of benchmark. That's like the 100 sprint in the athletics is sort of the blue ribbon event. Everyone should be able to do that relatively well. But then
you mean everyone should be aiming to do that? Not everyone can do that.
Oh yeah, what did I say? Oh yeah,
aiming can do it well.
Yeah, aiming to. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
but go on, carry on.
So all of these girls this morning swam around the 2:03 to 2:06 mark. A lot of their PBs are on the 2-minute boundary, so you'd like to see a few of them kind of pushing under that. That would be a great swim.
That would be a good swim. And you're right. I mean, the majority are about 2 seconds off their PB. If they can get anywhere close to that 2-minute mark, then that's pretty good going. 2:02 would be a very good swim, I would say. But take Honey Osrin, for example. She's more of a backstroke swimmer, so she wouldn't be targeting that. But because, like we were saying earlier, they need the people
race
to fill up the lanes.
And there's race experience.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So that's another good example, along with others that we've mentioned beforehand.
Yeah. So I think the class of this field is down in lane 7 in Georgia Coates.
PB wise, yes. She's actually the only swimmer to go under 2 minutes in the pool right now. Whether she gets that close is a different source of matter. She went 2:05 this morning.
So a kind of 6-second drop is quite a lot.
It is quite a lot.
But as we said, the heat we gave reasoning earlier for why the heats were slow. So maybe it's just that.
Yeah, possibly. So I do expect her to probably get to the front and then maybe stay at the front for the whole race as well.
Mm-hmm. Now, you were a 200 freestyle swimmer. What sort of tactics should these girls be employing?
From in my mind, there's mainly two tactics that you can do. You can do the Thorpe way, which is sprint from the beginning and then hold on to the end, or you can do the Pellegrini sort of tactic, which is where you go out quite steady and then build it up towards the end, and basically trying to negative split. I would always try and adopt the sprinting one, the Thorpe way.
Now, you've mentioned Thorpe and Pellegrini. The difference there between the two might be the gender.
Possibly, yeah.
Because then you do very rarely see in women's 200 meters it being taken out like an absolute bullet.
Well, if you look at our very best 200 freestyler right now in Freya Anderson, she does the same tactic as Pellegrini and builds it up and finishes strongly at the end. And then if you look at our best male 200 freestyler in Duncan Scott, he goes fast from the beginning.
So maybe that's the difference between the two.
Yeah, possibly, quite possibly. Who's to say? But for me, I would go out strong. Gives you the best chance of doing a best time and winning the race.
The best races that we've ever seen. I mean, me and you saw one of them in person, which was in 2013 at Barcelona. When Yannick Angel took out the 200 free like an absolute madman, and we thought he was just going to get caught. There was the likes of Ryan Lochte in there, Sun Yang, I think Robbie Rennick was in it. Yeah. And nope, he stayed away quite comfortably in the end.
Well, in the end, he actually started to pull away from them as well, which is testament to the training. He was a very good 200 meter specialist. You wouldn't really see him in a 400 or the 100. He literally was just a 200 meter swimmer.
So it looks like Mia Slevin is going to get this just on the wall.
Just
202.
I think Georgia Coates might just be off form a little bit, so she actually went only just a little bit quicker than this morning. Maybe she's in a hard training cycle at the moment.
Yeah.
There could be various reasons
right now, isn't it? It's the most obvious. I think this meet, you are very unlikely to see a lot of fast times because of where it's situated. A lot of swimmers will just be trying to race again and improve their race skills.
Yes, yeah. We said it yesterday in the live stream about Michael Andrew and his vlog that he did on YouTube, talking about he didn't even look at the times. He was literally concentrating on stroke count. Fantastic video, actually. It's only like 10 minutes long. Go and watch it. Give the phone
after the live stream. After our live stream.
Oh, after this, obviously. All right, so we're into the final 200 free then for the women.
I'm excited.
We've got a good head-to-head here.
My favourite British swimmer is back in the water right now.
And who is that then?
Abby Wood, quite comfortably. Yeah. Looking at what races she's entered so far this weekend, I would guess that she is targeting the 200 freestyle now.
It gives you a good chance for making a relay.
Not even relay. She did a new personal best at Manchester International of a 1:57. That's a good time.
1:57.9, yeah.
And she is constantly improving and getting quicker. So I think she's a real competition for Freya Anderson.
Going off PBs, Freya is a good 2 seconds quicker. But going off form, you kind of half expect Abby Wood to be winning this race. I
kind of do. I don't know why. I just expect it.
I'm going to say the opposite, though. I do believe Freya Anderson will get the better of her in this race. Okay. It's not going to be easy. I mean, it's going to be within half a second, I would say. But Freya Anderson did look very comfortable this morning. It was a very, very easy 2 minutes dead, basically. What she swam this morning. So yes, it's going to be a good race, this one. I'm quite excited about it.
I think Abby Wood might be a little bit more marked this time. She kind of caught Freya on the cold last weekend, or the last meet.
Yeah, I mean, you just need to watch her start. She's going to be leading from the front because that's what she does. She kind of takes out strong, stronger than what Freya will be. It's just whether Freya can catch her at the end, which I believe she will do. We'll find out, won't we? Of course, we've got Holly Hibbert in the water as well, who is no slouch. She should come back strong, since so she's more suited to distance events. I mean, she's European champion back in 2015 for the 800. So,
Freya usually does save a lot for the last 50.
She does, yeah. It just depends how far, if she is far ahead, Abby Wood after the third length. But
Well, where Abby Wood beat her last race was her underwater work. It is kind of a staple of the David Hemmings training squad. Her, Joe Litchfield, there's a few of them with some incredible underwaters, and I'd love for British Swim to have an underwater camera so we could see it, but there isn't one.
yeah, I was kind of hoping there was one for Luke Greenbank's 200 backstroke yesterday, because his underwater work at the moment, I was sort of saying that it's not just there you go. It's not just the up and down. It's not the up motion on the dolphin kick on his backstroke. It's also the down motion. He's able to keep it going and keep it fluent throughout. And Abby Wood is able to do it, and half a body length after 15 meters is massive. That's half a second right there.
And she will utilize every wall.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I think Lucy Hope might be a dark horse at the top as well.
I'll tell you what, she's got a PB as a 158, so there is pedigree across the whole of this lineup.
Yeah, it's a good race, isn't it? But of course, you've just seen it again. Abby Wood with a fantastic turn, and it takes half a body length for Freya Anderson every single time. But we'll see. Lucy Hope tanking it at the moment at the top.
She is. I tell you what, she listened to you before the race. That's what she's done.
Yeah. She's listening to the live stream, and she's like, she's going in. Of course, yeah. What's she turning in here? 56? Is that? No, it can't be 56.
57.
57. It's just whether she can hold it now.
But there you go. Abby Wood is still that kind of, 3/4 of a body length ahead of Freya Anderson, same as it was last race.
Yep.
She'll now do the Ryan Lochte, the Phelps off this last wall and probably go to 15 underwater. That is her strength. Use it. It is the fastest way to go through the water. If
you're able to take half a body length off your opponents off every turn, then you do it, don't you?
I'll tell you what, Lucy Hope looks like she's paying for it slightly now.
Yeah. Look at the turn. It's just awesome. Another half body length. There you go. Every single time. It's just whether Freya can catch her on this last length.
It's just demoralizing. If I was Freya Anderson, it's demoralizing to see your nearest rival pull away off every wall.
Off every wall, yeah. I mean, I suppose it's quite positive that she's able to catch up on the swimming pass of the...
I'll tell you what, the train's coming back through now. You've called it.
Yeah, she's very strong. She did look good this morning. The time's going to be quick here. Oh, hang on. Whoa. Oh, it's close. Oh, PB for
58. 58. No, it is.
Oh, no, sorry. No, it's not. I'm lying.
So 58.
Yeah. That's pretty good. I'd be pretty happy with that. From looking at the times from earlier, I think everyone has gone quicker.
Fast race that. Yeah.
Give or take, everyone's gone 2 seconds quicker.
So 158 is okay. I would have hoped.
For who? Who are you talking about?
Freya. I would have hoped faster.
Well, based off what she didn't swim very well last month at all, and actually pulled out of quite a few events. I don't know if there was something behind the scenes or something, but she looks much better this today. 158. I'd be pretty happy with that. Be pretty happy with that. And of course, Abby Woods is the form swimmer at the moment, and being half a second off again I wouldn't be too unhappy about that. But yeah, that's pretty good. I think Lucy Hope went for it, put herself in the right position to get herself a best time, and that's what I like about the 200 free, where you take it out hard because you put yourself in a great position to break your own PB and to potentially win the race. But unfortunately, just paid for it at the end. But now she's learnt that just slightly needs more work in training, or these girls shouldn't be resting too much at the moment. They should be still training through. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I would take away from it anyway.
Okay, so we got a little bit of a pause, I think, before the next race. So just a reminder to everyone who is watching this live stream that we will be doing a question and answer at the end. As you've seen, hopefully through this whole live stream, we have interacted with any questions that have popped up, any comments that we think add value, because obviously we don't know it all. So yeah, feel free to leave any comments and questions throughout this live stream. We love interacting with everyone.
Well, I'm just going to repeat myself again. We just want to build a community where anything is open, basically.
And to build that community, please subscribe to the Propulsion Swimming channel on YouTube.
That would be nice. Yeah, that would be nice.
Just a shameless plug.
You did it, so it's fine. Right.
200 IM is in the water. Who's racing?
3 swimmers again. So at least these finals have more swimmers in from a para point of view, which is good. We've got Dylan Broom in lane 3. Lane 4 is Rhys Davis, and lane 5 is Jack Milne, all of which are for S14. So again, points don't really come into effect here. It's all about who gets their hand on the wall first. Should be a good race, actually. They all went around the 220, 222 mark.
And their
so
PBs are all around the 218s.
Yeah, which, I mean, if they can go those times, that'll be perfect. I'm not sure what the British record is for this one. Oh, Rhys Dunn, 208. Wow, what a swim that is. But yeah, so I don't think the British record would go here. It's all about entertainment and who gets their hand on the wall first, which is what swimming should be about, really. It's all about winning. Dylan Broom's actually swimming quite well this meet, so if I'm going to pick a swimmer, I'd expect him to come through at the end.
Yeah, I think it's worth noting while we watch this race that we will be doing a live stream for the para trials separately is it April 8th, I believe is the date. And we have some live guests who are going to join us on the live stream. We have Paralympian Jack Bridge, who is hopefully going to join us. And yeah, it's going to add real value. If anyone has any questions watching it, whether it's about the classification process, whether it's Jack's racing himself, because he's, I believe, a triple British record holder.
Definitely has the 100 breaststroke. Yeah. I'm not sure about the 200. He's definitely got the 100 anyway. But it'd be great speaking to Jack again. I wasn't on that podcast, unfortunately. But be great to speak to him and get him, pick his brains basically about what it's like to be a para swimmer.
Yeah.
What it's like potentially racing, not many people in the pool, different things. It'd be great to get him on and throw questions at him, basically.
Yeah. So basically, the plan going forward for Propulsion Swimming, because we've enjoyed covering these meets so much, even if they have been smaller meets in the eyes of British swimming, is we are going to do this from now on for when there is British racing in the water, whether that's British trials, Europeans. I'd love to say the Olympics if enough people want us up at 3 a.m. And to join us. But if not, if there's not quite enough demand for it, then we probably won't do that because we have day jobs and I can't stay up all night long.
Difficult when I don't drink coffee, so I don't know what's going to keep me up. I'm going to have like Haribo on the go or something to keep me going.
Just orange juice for you.
Orange juice for me, yeah.
So it looks like Rhys Davies is pulling away here.
Yeah, this is a fantastic swim, actually. Is he on course for a PB? He might be. What's the time at the moment? 125. Could do. He might do. You never know. He does look very strong in the water, doesn't he? He does.
Yeah. Usually when you come to a 200 IM, this is the leveler, the breaststroke leg.
The breaststroke leg, yes. Kind of disregard Loxley and Phelps, the very best IM swimmers in the world. But usually if you've got a good IM, you have to have a very good breaststroke.
Well, Phelps wasn't that bad at breaststroke, was he? I thought he was pretty decent.
Well, it's pretty good. It wasn't his number one stroke is what I'm trying to say.
All right, okay, yeah.
Same with Loxley. He's more backstroke. Even Laszlo Che, actually. He was more fly and backstroke as well. So it's kind of like discredits what we've just said, really. But breaststroke is where it's all about, really. And coming back like a train is Dylan Broom, not going to have enough pull to catch up to Rhys, but
no, not quite. He's hung on for the win.
219.1, so quicker than this morning, just off his PB. Dylan Broom 220, again quicker, just off his PB, and Jack Milne 222. Oh, slightly slower than this morning. So at least these para swimmers are actually giving their best in the morning as well as they are in the evening as well.
Yeah.
So
I mean, they're PB +1, PB +2. That's a good mark to be at.
It is right now. I mean, you don't want to be swimming your very best right now. If you're targeting, for these guys, you'll be targeting the Paralympics, which is, I believe, in August, isn't it? It's after the Olympics.
It's later on, yeah.
Yeah. So you don't want to be swimming fast now and then swim slow later on, as defeats the object. So these guys, they're in the right place, I would say.
Yeah.
That's a good swim, good solid swims all around.
So next is the able body 200 IM final, and we finally have Duncan Scott in the water today. He is doubling up today as well. He has two kind of big events, the 200 IM and the 100 freestyle, both of which he could potentially race at Tokyo.
I will.
200 IM, yes. 100 free is a maybe.
Well, he's going to be doing the freestyle leg on the relays, obviously. Whether he does it individually, not sure. I would probably say yes. But it's difficult. I mean, he can do so many races. It's quite phenomenal. So versatile. But you don't want to be entering all the races and then suddenly be average on all of them. You don't really want that. You kind of.
I think his target is the 200 freestyle.
I hope so, because that's the way I would. That's the way I would go as well. But anyway, that's a different conversation. We're 200 IM. So if I go through the list then, so lane 1 is Luke Greenbank, the headline act, if you like, of the whole meet so far. Lane 2, Mark Sranic. Lane 3, Joe Litchfield. 4, Duncan Scott. 5, Max Litchfield. 6, Jacob Greenow. 7, James McFadden. And lane 8 is William Riley. Where's your money on this one? We got the Litchfield brothers in. We've got Luke Greenbank as an outside burner potentially. And then, of course, we got the Flying Scott in the middle. Where are you going?
Duncan Scott.
Yeah.
Going off this morning's times, he was a good 3 seconds ahead of everyone else. So it's not close, actually.
Yeah, I mean, he did the 100 fly yesterday, which is not his event. Still went 53.
Like we said, I think he was blowing out the cobwebs. He hadn't raced long course in over a year.
Yeah, and it's a pretty good race to sort of do, actually, to blow away the cobwebs. That's get your arms going around in a weird motion, of course. Kills you at the end.
Motion.
But anyway, yes. I mean, the Litchfield brothers are fantastic IM swimmers. Max, of course, has actually got a slightly better PB than Duncan Scott, believe it or not.
Yeah.
By 0.01.
I think he's probably aiming more for the 400 IM and 400 free.
I would have thought so, yeah. I mean, there's no harm in doing a 200 IM as well. It gives Duncan Scott a good race here. I'm going to repeat myself here, but Joe Litchfield's start is world class. He will be half a body length, much like Abby Wood. He will be ahead after 15 meters here.
I'm sorry if you are new, or in fact, I'm sorry if you've watched this live stream now for every time that we've done it, but Dan will constantly tell you how good Joe Litchfield's start is. On our Twitter live stream, on our Twitter live tweeting even, he says it every time, but it's true. Just watch. Just watch.
I don't need to say anything, because every time, it's kind of like Dressel. It's like guaranteed he's first to 15.
It wasn't overly then, actually. Luke Greenbank looked like he was the fastest, and you said yesterday his 200 back, you wanted to show his underwater because it's so good.
We've got two of the best underwater dolphin kickers in the country in the water right now. Be an interesting contest who comes up furthest ahead here off this dolphin. It's hard to tell off this camera.
There is a very funny comment you need to see in the feed.
Oh God. We'd be smashed.
It's a Saturday night. No one's going to the pub or anything.
No, true. It's too late now. I can't move. But it's true though. I mean, he's got such a fantastic start. Never shot. So, but yeah. It's all on the breaststroke leg here. Who's got the best breaststroke out of the swimmers in the water? It's a bit of a toss-up for me. Duncan Scott looks very good on the breaststroke this morning, mind you. So I kind of expect him to be the one that touches the final wall.
Last at the Manchester International, you really wanted to see what Luke Greenbank could do in a 200 IM. And at the top of the board here, he does look like he's going well until the breaststroke leg.
Yeah, he's good at the other three, and then the breaststroke, he suffers on the breaststroke, unfortunately. But yeah, that's probably why he doesn't really target the 200 IM very well, because he's not. I'll just say it. He's not very good at breaststroke compared to everyone else in the water. But the other three strokes they're up there with the best.
I was going to say, before that breaststroke leg, he was leading. So
yeah,
it's a shame. But
he's gone off the pace here, which is a shame. But it's the Litchfield brothers and Duncan Scott, as we kind of predicted. The time is going to be 150. What's that? 159?
158, I think.
159. 59.3. So
tad faster than this morning. Joe a lot quicker than this morning.
Yeah,
very close to his personal best. Not quite, but good to go under 2 minutes.
Yes, yeah. I'm not sure why he went so slow. He went 2:04 this morning, which is
we've already done that explanation.
I know, but I don't know why. Just go for it. That's what I would say. Pretty respectable times though. What's that time from Luke Greenbank? 2:02.5. That's a PB. That's a PB for him.
Nice, nice.
Yeah. Everyone else is slightly off. I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fact, actually, quite a few seconds off actually for James McFadden. Jacob Greenow. What did he go in the end? 2:04. So he's a second off as well. So again, I mean, being a second off at this point in the season, I'd be pretty happy with that right now.
Yeah, yeah. It's a weird one, because I said at the start of yesterday's live stream, I expected the swimmers to swim faster during the Manchester meet, or I know this is in Manchester, but the Manchester International, because of kind of exuberance. It was the first time they've been in the water racing for a long time, so they're going to go faster. Whereas this meet, that enthusiasm, I wouldn't say it's gone, but it's not quite the same, and they're a bit more reserved.
You kind of said it was a coin flip, didn't you? Where they will either go faster or they will go much slower. I think they would go faster because it's another month of training.
Yeah.
But then on the flip side of that, because it's extra training, they might be more fatigued. And like you say, they're not they haven't got the adrenaline, the exuberance from not racing for so long. That's kind of gone. The cobwebs have gone. But overall, it is very much you're either PBing or on PB, or you're about 5 seconds off, it seems. There's no sort of in between, is there?
Yeah. Right. Next race in the water, 100 backstroke. We have a world record holder in the pool in Hannah Russell.
Yeah.
And then we also have Katie Crowhurst, who this morning went almost the same time as Hannah Russell. So Hannah Russell is the fastest swimmer in the water, but it would be good to see Katie Crowhurst get dragged along by her.
Well, actually, Katie swam a PB this morning,
which
was a very small PB. I think it was 0.03 or something like that.
PB is a PB.
PB is a PB, correct. So very good swim from her. If she gets anywhere near that time, that would be great. Hannah Russell's world record of 106.0 is mighty, mighty fast. I don't think she's going to go anywhere near that.
Do we have a third swimmer in the water here?
No, I think it's to help Katie.
Gotcha.
Katie is S13, so she's visually impaired.
Right.
So it's probably to help her get onto the block. Sorry, to enter the water. It's backstroke, isn't it?
Yeah. And S14, just while we're here.
Wait, do we have another swimmer? Wait. Oh, because on the results sheet, Abby Kane was going in the able body final. Okay, so Abby Kane's in the race as well. Okay.
And this morning she went a 114. Okay, we're going to have to concentrate here.
We got that slightly wrong. I don't know. There's been a few changes.
The start list changed. So there are two S13 swimmers in the water. So hopefully they can both race each other along. That is the aim here, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, in theory, Hannah Russell should be winning this by quite a distance, actually, based off PBs. But Katie and Abby can actually drive themselves forward here, being the same classification. And times are extremely similar. Abby's got the faster PB by a second, but if we can, or she can drag Casey along with her, then we're looking at PB for a new PB again for Casey. But we'll see. We'll see. Great underwater work from Abby Kane there.
Brilliant.
She's gone straight to her legs. Now, I used to hate 100 backstroke long course because of the pain in your legs after.
It is the hardest stroke for leg kick, isn't it?
It is. A lot of people ask I've had a look on Twitter, and when people ask what's the hardest event in swimming, and they normally say the 200 fly, 400 IM. There's quite a lot of people now saying 200 backstroke, and I do believe it's because of the leg kick.
Okay.
I used to hate 100 backstroke because for me, 100 meters is a sprint from the beginning.
Yeah.
And the legs towards the last 15 meters or so, lactic, heavy. I mean, my legs were sinking towards the end, which is probably why I wasn't a backstroker. But for Abby to use her legs immediately from the get-go, she might feel the pain towards the end. But we'll see. I mean, hopefully she's been training hard and she pushes through the pain barrier. But as expected, Hannah Russell's taken it out. So a world record would be now. That's how quick that world record was.
I think your live stream's slightly behind.
Oh, no, I'll reset it. So 109.9 for Hannah Russell, 112.
Oh, Katie Crowhurst has gone a PB by over a second.
There we go, see?
Lovely.
So they've all dragged each other along. Perfect. That's the way it should be.
Great swimming.
Right, let me redo this live stream again.
Yeah, just get it up to date before the big races this evening, because there's a really good one.
Well, it'll take a while. Phone is so slow.
You're fully resetting. Okay.
Yeah. No, not fully reset. I'm just going off the video and back on it again. I've just loaded us. Anyway, yes. Right. What's the next race?
100 backstroke again, my friend.
Yes, of course it is.
Okay, so you go through the start list.
So lane 1. Oh, go on.
We've got a B final.
We do.
This is a B final. So there's so many swimmers that we have an A and a B. Good experience to race heats and finals for everyone.
Good for when they get to the major competitions again. So doing a heat swim and then a semi-final swim and a final if you get there, hopefully. all good practices, isn't it? So in lane 1, we've got Drew Nelly McKenzie. Lane 2, Holly McGill. Lane 3, Casey Shanahan. Lane 4, Rachel Saunders. 5, Sophie Freeman. 6 is Tamrin Van Selm. Anna Green is in lane 7. And in lane 8, it would be Abby Kane. That's what we've got written down. I'm not sure how it's going to work now. We might have
an extra swimmer. We might not.
Yes,
I'll tell you what, one swimmer who has kind of popped up onto my radar is Tamrin Van Selm. She's been in a lot of races over the past month or so.
I think
she's a Millfield swimmer.
Yeah, she's doing the right thing. I think she's using this opportunity to race as much as possible, which is exactly what I'd be advising as well. Seeing as though she's one of the lucky swimmers to be able to do it, then you take full advantage of it, obviously.
Exactly.
And that's the way I would do it as well. How many swimmers did you count now? Was there 7?
Oh, I kind of forgot to count.
Oh,
never I was just waiting to see for them to dive in the pool.
Oh, okay. Right, where's your money on this one then? If you've got money to spend.
Well, PB Katie Shanahan. She's got the fastest PB, but I think it could be almost a blanket finish here.
I was going to say a blanket finish. This could go anywhere. I think this is all down to the technical sort of elements, the underwaters from the start and the turn, and then not extending on the finish, not gliding into the finish, and not finishing on a short stroke. Whoever gets their stroke right in the last 5 meters, I think, will be the one who wins this race.
Yeah, I think a sub 104 wins it.
I would think so. Yes. Yeah. A lot of they're all very young in this race, actually.
Which is great that there's a B final for them.
Yes.
Did you get the experience of racing B finals during your career?
Yeah. So we went to Eindhoven, and there was
that part of the Mare Nostrum, or was it just
no? It was LEN something.
Right.
I can't remember what it was called, but LEN series or something. And they had A and B finals for every race actually. Obviously, because it's a big major race, a big major event. So swimmers from every country, most countries, were there. So you were able to fill the pool up every time. I made the B final in the 200 free. So yeah, I mean,
heads for you.
What, during that race?
Yeah.
Well, I was racing a Cardiff swimmer, and I wanted to beat him. It didn't happen in the end. I was just off, but I didn't really look at anyone else in the pool. So
the race here is going to be between lanes. I would have thought 3 and 4.
Do you reckon? Well, it's just the middle lanes usually, the classic spearhead. But going off not entry times, the times from this morning, they're all much the same. I think Drew Nelly McKenzie was slightly off with a 108, but everyone else is around the sort of 1.4, 1.5 sort of time.
What you're seeing there is the best swimmers in this spearhead, or the ones leading it. They spent the most time underwater, and that's something you always see in backstroke.
Well, we've recently done a blackboard breakdown of Ryan Murphy, and he is basically a backstroke specialist. He does every backstroke race, 100 and 200. I'm sure he do the 50 at Worlds as well. And he uses the 15 meters to fully.
Called it.
10. What's that? 3? Am I behind again?
1032 wins it. That's quite fast.
It is quite fast.
I'll tell you what, Rachel Saunders has just hit a PB by almost a second.
That's 1034. Yeah. Wow, that is a good PB. Wow. Wait. So she hit a PB this morning because she went 1034 this morning.
I'll tell you what, there's Sophie Freeman's hit a new PB. Some good swims there. Some good swims.
It's good that we're getting these sort of results in the B final as well, don't you think?
Yeah.
So hopefully we get these sort of same results in the A final too.
Well, we do have Kathleen Dawson going in the A final, and she did swim a new personal best this morning.
Yeah, she actually swam really quite well, didn't she?
Yeah, she's in really good form. Really.
Yeah. She's just doing what I've sort of suggested and going out fast in every race, which is what she should be doing. I kind of expect her to be the clear favourite for this next race, actually. Even though Georgia Davis is probably the bigger name, I would have said. But she's more suited to the 50. She's European champion at 50 backstroke.
Yeah, I agree. And she's not quite been on form recently.
No, she swam relatively well actually last month. I don't know if she's in a hard training block again.
Kathleen Dawson wasn't at the Manchester International, was she? So this is kind of her first appearance, and she's laying down a marker before trials.
Yeah, basically. I mean, she's put herself in a prime position to be picked for the 100 backstroke at the moment. Unless there's another swimmer who's not swimming able to fill that position as well. I mean, we're taking two, aren't we? I think that's normally the way it goes for Olympics. You take the top two.
I think we're gonna have to do a whole podcast into selection policy this year because it's not quite as straightforward as you'd expect given coronavirus. We'll go into that. I think that will be our preview before trials.
I think there's only a certain amount of swimmers you can take, isn't it? So like 30 odd or something.
They've given a cut for the number of swimmers that you take, and even if you finish first and second at trials, you may not go. I don't quite.
It's going to be difficult.
It's a weird one. We need to take a deep dive into it, but we'll get there.
Yes, yeah. If that's the case, then the Americans can't do what they normally do and take 8 swimmers for just one relay.
That is British swimming's guidelines. It's not Olympic guidelines. So America can write their own guidelines and take 8 swimmers if they want. But what British Swimming have come out and said is we are taking this many swimmers because that's all we can fund, basically.
Yeah, okay. Well, it's another podcast for another day, isn't it? But I suppose rules have to be in place for something, so you can't just go willy-nilly. Something has to be set in stone first. But there we go.
So, Kathleen Dawson, what is the standout things to pay attention to in this swim for her?
In her swim, so doing the technical side, which I was saying in the B final as well. Make sure you get fast off this block. Make sure you don't slip. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Fast off the block, underwater work immediately as soon as your feet sort of enter the water. Get the underwater work going. Stroke rate is important here. You need to get those arms swinging around as fast as possible. Ideally, not slipping the water, but holding enough water to push it, extend it to your hips, and keep that stroke rate going as much as you can. From the very get-go, even when lactic starts to kick in, try and keep it going as much as possible.
Now, she won the 50 yesterday, so I wouldn't have thought speed is a problem. It will just be the last 15 meters that may catch up with her.
Possibly. I mean, I don't think so. I think she's quite strong throughout the whole race, actually.
She's a mile ahead already.
She's taken it out.
Strong.
Leaving everyone in her wake at the moment, isn't she? Blimey.
Wow.
But here we go, the underwater work.
15.
So as soon as they push off, perform that underwater work, because as soon as you push off, you start to slow down. So get working on the underwater work straight away, into the stroke, and then plow towards the end.
So the field is coming back slightly on her. I wouldn't say anywhere near enough to pose a problem.
No, and this is the reason why I like going out hard, because you give yourself the best opportunity of... It's up to the other swimmers to catch you up, if that makes sense.
Oh, wow, 58.6 is that? Wow.
58.6, oh my God. That's
wow.
0.5 quicker. Whoa.
That's more than 0.5.
Cassie Wild with a good swim. I think that's a PB as well.
That is, yep. So two PBs in the middle from the 2 Sterling swimmers.
Yeah. Very good swims all around, actually. Any more PBs out there? Not quite. Oh, it's gone.
I think Maddie Harris with a PB, or Meddy Harris.
Meddy Harris. Honey Osrin's very close to one as well.
I'll tell you what, Kathleen Dawson time, I know Gemma Spoffhoff has the British record in a 58.1. That's a super suit.
Super suit time, yeah.
So she's got mighty close to that. Wow.
Well,
there's some improvement there, because her last 5 meters, she was bobbing up and down a bit. If you saw it, she wasn't quite keeping us flat in the water. And that will just be the fatigue.
I would have thought so, yes. Yeah. I mean, the other swimmers were catching her up, which kind of proves that she was getting tired towards the end. But awesome swim.
It's a sprint, so take it out.
It is. Yeah, got to. Yeah.
Wow. Must have been some big swims tonight, hasn't there?
I mean, she's only a second off the world record now, which is good going. But first of all, British record first. Let's aim for that one.
I was going to say steady.
Another half second, which she could do. I mean, we've still got so many months left until Tokyo. Got every chance of breaking it. So fingers crossed. That's a fantastic swim. Cassie Wild as well needs mentioning. That's a fantastic swim. First time under a minute, which is a massive boundary, massive barrier. So congratulations to her.
I tell you what, there you go. Someone's done the research for us.
Oh,
that time would have got silver at 2019 World Champs. That's a good swim.
There you go. So, wow, there you are. Congratulations. What a swim that is. I mean, she's the form swimmer. You kind of expect it, I suppose, don't you? But
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, 50 breaststroke.
Yes. This could be a good chance of a British record breaking here. Scott Quinn, S14. Well, actually, all of them S14, I believe. Connor Morrison, I think, is S14 as well.
So they might well be, yeah.
The British record for this one is Scott Quinn's PB. He's the one that has the British record in 31:06. No, it's not. It's 30.9. Sorry. He went 31:0 this morning.
He set a new PB, didn't he?
I can't remember, but I know the British record is 30.9.
Okay.
So I think ours is slightly a bit messed up, but it's fine. It goes out the window if he breaks it, doesn't he? Hopefully, a 30.8 will be swam here. So in lane 3, we've got Jack Milne. Scott Quinn is in lane 4. Connor Morrison in lane 5, and Jordan Catchpole in lane 6. Now, Jordan's stroke is not breaststroke.
But he's racing. It's good to see him racing. That's
yeah, absolutely.
The opportunity to race a final. Go ahead.
Do it. Absolutely. So the eyes really should be on Scott Quinn, whether he breaks this British record or not, and hopefully he drags Connor and Jack along with him.
Scott Quinn actually raced in a few of the able-body finals yesterday, didn't he?
In the breast, yeah, he did. Yeah, that's how good he is.
He's that good.
Yeah. All S14, so we don't have to worry about the points. It's all about who touches the wall first. Oh, he's
good
quick
start
off the block.
from Jordan.
Yeah, blimey. And not the best of starts for Scott Quinn.
No.
Not sure what happened there, but it's Connor Morrison looking very strong here. And if he holds his stroke rate, then he'll be touching the wall first. Scott Quinn is coming through, though.
Is he running out of pool?
I don't think he's going to get there.
Oh, long glide. Oh, he's won it by 0.0.
Oh. Wow.
Well, he's also got a new PB, or I think.
No. I think he's gone 30.9. I'm pretty sure he's gone that that time.
31.0 is not bad at all.
I think Jack Milne's just gone a PB, 32.5. So another great swim all around here. 34.59 for Jordan, so slightly slower than this morning. It's a shame that Scott Quinn wasn't good off the block. I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe just lost his streamline off the start. Things happen, and of course, over 50 meters, it proves pivotal.
I thought you were going to say pitiful then.
No, pivotal. Sorry, couldn't get the V out.
Okay, Adam Peaty's back in the water. What can we expect? Big much?
Wow,
a big race or not really much?
I mean, his starts have been looking pretty good this weekend. Every race that he swam in, both the 100 breaststrokes and the 50 this morning, his starts have been pretty good.
It's a good improvement, but
it's improvement.
The fact that he's already qualified for Tokyo, there is no chance he's in a massive training block right now. Basically, there's no chance he's kind of relaxed for this meet.
Yeah, it just doesn't look as though he doesn't look very fast in the water. I mean, he's quick. Obviously, he went 26.8 this morning, which is probably one of the top 10 times or something crazy like that in the world ever. But he just doesn't look as though he's on form. He doesn't look like he's flying through the water as much.
Well, he's what I'd call a big game racer. Yeah. So he needs that competition and that's when he does perform the best. His world records were all set in semi-final or final on the biggest world stage.
Yeah, and I think ISL would prove that as well, because he proved me wrong so many times in the ISL skins. I didn't think he was able to do that. But
I thought Shimanovic and Saki had the better of him, but they really didn't.
But they were nowhere near in the end.
And I also think James Wilby needs a little bit of recognition, because if Adam Peaty wasn't around, he would have won a world gold.
He would have.
He's a really, really good breaststroker. He just happens to be
in the Peaty era
in Britain.
Yeah,
big shame. If he was anywhere else in the world, he'd be the leading light in breaststroke.
Yeah, he would. Yeah, I believe he would be the fastest in America. Actually,
I think so.
Needs to be corrected on that maybe, but he would be the fastest in America. But it's just a shame that he's in with Peaty. but yeah. So again, yes again.
From Peaty. Are we looking for a 26 low? That'd be a good time.
Yeah, 26.5. I think anywhere around that mark or even below it, that would be pretty nice. David Murphy, I like his breaststroke as well, and he's going to give James Wilby a run for his money here as well.
Okay. 26.8.
26.8. Okay, he's going to be disappointed with that. I feel. I mean, it's the same time as this morning.
He looked fast through the water though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not quite sure. I mean, his start did look very good, and I think that's what he's been working on a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know whether he needs to do more sprint-based training. We saw a video on Cody Miller doing some skins practice, didn't we, with Lily King? Maybe he's not got round to that yet. Maybe he's working on the start and then working on to the speed later. Who knows? But we've got full trust in Mel Marshall because she knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure PT will get there eventually. But yeah, good swims, I think. Wilby went quicker than this morning. David Murphy as well. Yeah, good. All good swims.
So we've got another star of British para swimming in the water now in Ely Chalice.
Yeah, slightly off her PB that she set last month in this in the 50 fly. 103 she swam, so it's a good near enough 5 seconds off.
Yeah.
Maybe she was resting for this final. Who knows? Tony Shaw is also swimming in this one in lane 4. Lyra O'Connor is also in lane 5. Each of them are in different classifications. Sorry.
So can you break down the classifications for us?
Oh God, I could do. So lane
Sound
lane
happy
3,
about it, man.
lane 3, Ely Chalice is an S3 swimmer. So an S3 is where there's no use of like the trunk or the legs. So it's all to do with arms. There's decent arm function, but it's not top notch,
Right.
So it's quite a severe disability. Lane 5, which is Lyra O'Connell. What is she? She's an S7, so there's limited leg function. So there's potentially missing a leg or but parts of both legs, So it could be a form of cerebral palsy as well. Depends how severe it is. And then lane 4, Tony Shaw is S9 swimmer. Very similar, those sort of categories. Depends how severe the disability is. But in S9, there's a severe weakness in one leg or sort of both legs moderately.
Now, the best way to understand these classifications is through the Lexi.
Lexi, yes. Yeah. That was it was introduced in London 2012, wasn't it?
By Giles. Is it Giles Scott? Am I remembering that?
Giles Long, I think it was.
Giles Long, there we go.
Would be nice to get him on the live stream for Paris, actually. That would be nice. But we haven't messaged him yet. We'll find out, shall we?
Okay, so Tony Shaw looks like she's going to win this in a lot faster time than this morning.
Yeah, I think my stream's behind you annoyingly again, but never mind. 31.8. So 0.2 quicker than this morning.
31.8. That's a British record.
Is it?
It is.
No way.
She's broken Alice Ty's British record.
Oh.
For S9.
Oh, wow. I did not know that. Wow, look at that. I wasn't expecting a British record here. I had nothing planned for that.
You were paying attention, weren't you?
You asked me about the disabilities. But anyway, fantastic swim. 31.8. Leah Connell, 38.8. Ely Chalice, 102.8. So all quicker than this morning. And all you have to look at, don't worry about the times, it's the points on the left. So even though Ely Chalice came in last, because she got she was quicker. She was nearer to her world record in her classification. That's why she ends up winning the race.
So that's what happens in a kind of mixed classification race like this one.
Yes, yeah. But I think the main thing to take away from that is a British record from Tony Shaw. That was, how long did that record last for? 2017. Yeah. So that's a 3-4-year-old record. Fantastic. Lovely swim. She's on form as well, Tony Shaw. Wow. Right, how many more races we got? We got loads more races.
Oh, we're still going. We're still going.
And so it's not even 7 o'clock yet, but it is. It's going to go till about 7:30, I think, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh my God, there's loads.
There is loads. But we got another Fast and Furious splash and dash here with the 50 fly again. For the women's, and Harriet Jones is going to be the standout swimmer here. She was on form last month as well. Swimmer from Cardiff. She she got a very nice butterfly, and probably that's the reason why she wins this race. Very quick, fast twitch fibers as well. She's able to do the 53 pretty well as well. But she's going to have some competition, I feel. Laura Stevens, even though she's more suited to a 200 fly, she
was very good in 200 fly yesterday, wasn't she? Very impressive.
Yeah, she was very impressive. And I think this is a good sort of practice for her to improve her starts, I would have thought, and the underwater work. But she'll give Harriet a good old race as well. Kiana is doing very well this meet as well. So expect her to come in a top 3 as well. So it should be a pretty good race.
God, lots of racing tonight. Lots of racing.
I know.
Have you done your start list too early here? I think you might have.
I might have done. Shall I go through? I haven't named everyone.
Okay.
So lane 1 is Chiara Schlossen. Hopefully I've said that. Schlossen, I feel like. Yeah. 2 is Tian Bruce. 3 is Laura Stevens. 4, Harriet Jones. 5, Kiana McKeans. 6, Harriet West. 7, Emily Large. And 8 is Isabel Goodwin.
So it could be a blanket finish. They're all kind of around the 27 mark. I would have thought anyone who dips below 27, like Harriet Jones did this morning, is going to win it.
I would have thought so. I mean, the majority of these swimmers' PBs are 27.1, give or take.
Yeah.
So, like you say, if you can drop under that 27 mark, then yeah, probably odds on to win. And it's only Harriet who's gone under that mark. And actually, Harriet West isn't swimming based off this.
Last minute pull out, obviously.
Yeah. Emily Large might be one to watch out in the outside lanes here. She did very well. She did very well in the 200 fly yesterday.
Oh, what is going on at the clock at the bottom?
Yeah. 30 minutes, 40 minutes. Wow.
Oh, British swimming. Come on.
Wow. I don't know why it keeps it doesn't need to change, does it? Just keep it there. But never mind. It wasn't there this morning either, which is so annoying. But anyway, going back to the race.
Harriet Jones is going to win this quite comfortably in a time of 26.5. So an improvement on this morning's time.
Yeah, Kiana, very good swim. Look at that. PB. Big PB. 0.3 as well. So yeah, I told you. She's on form as well. Great swim. Laura Stevens, 27.0. Much the same as what she did this morning. Slightly quicker, actually.
Now, you might be able to answer this. Why, if there isn't a swimmer in lane 6 like there was then, why do you not move up the swimmers from lane 7 or lane 8? Is it literally just computer software can't cope with a swimmer changing lanes so quickly?
Probably, yeah. It wouldn't surprise me, because normally in the other competitions you have sort of what's it called? People like swimmers on standby, don't you? You've got, what's it called? I can't remember. You've got people, 2 swimmers.
It's a racing reserve, isn't it, or something?
Reserve, thank you. Yeah, reserves. You usually have 2 swimmers from swimming as reserve swimmers, 2 reserve swimmers, and normally you just put that one swimmer up, and then the lanes rejiggle in terms of spearheading. It probably is to do with the software and the computer system.
Yeah,
that would be my guess. Probably just laziness from British swimming. I don't know, but I don't know. We'll see.
Just slam them because you can. That seems a little bit harsh.
All right, 100 free. They are trying to rattle through these races, which I suppose is quite good. I feel quite bad for the officials. They have to wear a mask on this hot pool side for nigh on 2 hours.
Yeah, so at the Manchester International Meet, there was obviously a nice break for, I think it was almost like half hour, 40 minutes. We're not seeing that during this live stream, which means it is almost, it's going to be 2 hours of me and Dan talking straight to you guys. So thank you for everyone who is staying with us the whole time. Right, so start list. Hit us.
Lane 3, Oliver Carter. 4, Stephen Clegg. 5 is Lewis Lawler. 6 is Andrew Mullen. So we've got a mixture of classifications again. So Andrew Mullen's S5, the more severe disability, all the way up to S14 in Lewis. S14 is the intellectual impairment. So there's no physical impairment at all. Stephen Clegg in the S12 is a visual impairment. And then Oliver Carter is the physical impairment, which is not so, I wouldn't say bad. It's just a slight weakness in the legs, or affects the legs. So again, it's a mild form of cerebral palsy potentially. But yes, this would be a pretty good race actually. Have we got any British records that could be broken?
I think Stephen Clegg holds the British record.
For the S12 he does, yes.
Yeah, he does. And he was what, 0.5 off it this morning?
Yeah, not too far away.
And he's got competition right next to him now. So in the morning's heats, he would have been at the edge of a spearhead with the able bodies. Whereas in this evening's final, he now has competition next to him in lane 4 and 5, which is probably better. A lot better. Which
hopefully strives on to get faster times, which has been proven so far, even today, actually. If Lewis can push him on, well, and vice versa. I mean, Stephen should push Lewis on as well to a fast PB.
What they're both doing here is something I would actively avoid. Is they're both swimming on the lane rope next to each other, which means whoever's leading is giving the other person a piggyback, basically.
Yeah, they're kind of riding the waves, isn't it? That's the classic. It's basically the same time.
Very close finish. Yeah.
0.01 in it.
Again, another very close race.
Basically the same time. 54.8. Oliver Carter did 57.6. Slightly slower than what he did this morning. Good times, though. I mean, that's what you want to see. You want to see a good race. You want to see it that close because that's what makes the sport exciting.
I would just kind of, if there are any young swimmers watching this, if you are racing that close to another swimmer, probably go to the other side of the lane unless you are the guy who is chasing.
Yeah. If there is someone in front of you, let's say the person you're swimming next to is on the left. If they're in front of you, you move to the very far side of your lane on the left to try and almost like surf. Yeah, catch the wave like surfers do. That's the whole idea of it. But if you're in front, then move away from your nearest rival. It's kind of like the opposite, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, a good example of that is if anyone wants to go and watch one of the best races ever, which is...
What's the best race? The best race ever.
Yeah, okay. The 4x100 at Beijing.
Yep.
Where Jason Lezak, for the whole way, was basically given a piggyback by Alan Bernard, because Alan Bernard, I could say some very strong things, needs a lesson in how to swim. Basically swam on the lane rope next to him and gave him a piggyback the whole way, and that's what slingshotted Jason Lezak into that monster time.
Yeah, I mean, you don't go 46.0 from just swimming in a pool by yourself. That's from getting help from the other swimmers and slipstream and waves and currents and all that sort of stuff. But obviously, watch that race. I think every swimmer in the world knows that race.
Yeah.
Rightly so, because it's just a monster race.
Okay, so we got another B final.
Is it a B final? Oh yes. No, wait. Yes, it is. It definitely is. Yeah. So I think David Cumberledge, he's got the fastest PB, but he's not raced for so long that he's not going to get anywhere near it, unfortunately.
So I think with these guys here, they're all looking for times under the 50-second mark. That's a really good time.
Well, I mean, that would be a PB for most of these guys in the water. So if they can get anywhere close to that, that'll be perfect. So we've got on our system, we've got Rhys Dunn, who's a S14. So
racing down in lane 8.
In lane 8. That just shows how good he is. I don't know what the British record is for that.
It's his in a 51.9. That's not
51.9.
shabby.
That is not slow, is it? I'm not even sure. I didn't even go that speed when I was swimming.
I'll tell you what, that's faster than a few of the able bodies in this race.
Yeah.
Wow.
But so in lane 1, you got Evan Jones. In 2, Jacob Goodman. Lane 3 is Stephen Mion. 4 is Scott Millay. 5 is David Cumberledge. 6 is Charlie Brown. 7, Archie Goodburn. And then, like we said, in lane 8 is Rhys Dunn. But you reckon 50 mark would be pretty good for these guys?
Yeah, I think below 50 wins this.
Mm-hmm.
I think Scott Millay, he will be targeting the 200 because he went to, was it Worlds as part of the 4x200 team?
I believe so, yeah.
And we have a very strong quartet for that race so far. I think Joe Litchfield's put his name up for that. There's also Matt Richards, who has put his hand up as well. You got Jacob Whittle, Tom Dean, then Duncan Scott, Jimmy Guy. So Scott Millay, he was part of that team before. He's going to have to go some to be part of it again. I think if that's his target is the 200 free. But if he can put in a good performance here in the 100 and can go sub 50, then brilliant.
And well, of course, you want to get into the 4x1 freestyle team as well.
Yes, very true.
So you kind of do want to target both the 100 and the 200, seeing as though we've got very good chance of winning medals at Tokyo. So definitely
you want Cummage with a monster start here. Wow, he has gone for it.
He's gone for it. Hopefully this drags everyone else along. So because he's got swimmers either side of him, he should probably be sticking on the black line right in the middle, which is exactly what he's doing.
Yeah.
And then it wouldn't surprise me if the swimmers outside him then gradually move closer to his lane lines.
You'd hope so. You can see it actually on the lane below him. That's starting to happen now.
Yeah. I mean, these camera angles don't really help, but you can see. There you go. In lane, is that lane 6?
Yeah, Charlie Brown. It looks like he's getting a bit of a piggyback now, and
that's the reason why he's now flying through.
Yeah. So Charlie Brown's PB is a 51.4.
Yeah.
So he has gone a 51.0. So new PB and wins it.
Yeah, well, there you go. That's a brilliant example of using your opponent to your advantage by just riding on the waves. And he's just that's a huge PB, isn't it? Is that a huge PB?
By 0.4.
Yeah, that's massive over 100. Blimey.
Especially at the senior level.
Yeah. Rhys Dunn at the bottom's gone 52.8 as well. Good swims all around. Stephen Milne, I think he's got good PBs, very good. He's more of a distance swimmer, I think, than the 400. Slightly off his time there. Jacob Goodman,
new PB.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, new PB, first time in the 51 section. So we've got some sprinting is in very good shape, especially male sprinting is in very good shape. And this was the B final.
Yeah, the A final is fun.
Well, this is where I'm going to let you take over because this is your sort of this is your area.
Well, who do you think wins this? Because Duncan Scott, he's obviously already raced this evening. Yep. He is the form. Or not, no, he isn't the form swimmer. On paper, he's the fastest swimmer. So he's gone a 47.8. But Matt Richards is the form swimmer. He set a new PB in the 50 yesterday. I would expect him to take this out really, really hard. He went, 49.1 this morning. He has gone a 48. Do you think he poses a bit of a threat here to Duncan Scott?
Yes, of course. Not just him. I think Tom Dean does as well. Jacob Whittle. This could go anywhere across the pool. I do believe Duncan Scott wins it, but it's not going to be plain sailing.
No. I think Matt Richards and Jacob Whittle are some names to definitely keep an eye on in the next. Maybe this Olympics is too soon for them, but in 3 years' time, weird to say that. In 3 years' time at Paris, I think they are right up there because what is it? You were telling me Jacob Whittle has the fastest 100 free ever for a 14-year-old.
As a 14-year-old, yes, yeah.
Yes, it's gone faster than Kyle Chalmers and Caleb Dressel went.
At the same age, yeah.
Yeah. So that's some pedigree that he's faster at.
I mean, I honestly think that Matt Richards and Jacob Whittle may actually go to Tokyo as part of the 4x1.
I hope they do for experience.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably take them. You could put Jimmy Guy on that 4x100 as well, but then Tom Dean as well. You don't really want to leave him out.
Duncan Scott could have such a packed schedule that you don't want to race him in the heats.
Possibly, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I think Tom Dean would be going anyway because of his 200 free and being the team.
Possibly 400 as well if he gets that back to form.
Yes, yeah. So, I mean, I would be taking them for that experience, that race experience, being on the biggest stage of all.
Yeah.
But this should be a good race. I mean, it's a good marker to see where you are in this training cycle.
It's interesting. I think all bar 2 PBs are under 50 here.
Yeah, I mean, what time do you reckon these guys are going to go?
49.1, I think. I don't think Matt Richards goes any faster than he did this morning.
Yeah.
Although Tom Dean's gone out hard.
Well,
so
Tom Dean's gone off awesome start.
I'll tell you what, that might drag him on a little bit more.
Well, you've got the stamina at the back end for him, so we'll see.
So take it out.
Yeah. But I think Duncan Scott will come through eventually.
I think it does. It does look slightly like Duncan Scott will come through. Matt Richards not quite. Oh, I don't know.
It's hard to say, isn't it? It's quite exciting. This is a British race. I think this is. We could give a lot of countries there. Yes, yeah. This is the main race, if you like.
There you go. 49 flat wins it. 49.09. So I said 49.1. There you go.
Yeah, there you are. Pretty much bang on.
So good times. As expected, Matt Richards doesn't quite go as fast as this morning. He is still very young and inexperienced at racing this sort of progression through the rounds.
Well, I was watching Blake Peroni's video earlier on today, and he was talking about the San Antonio race, and that the 100 meters was won in 49, pretty much the same time here. So we are on the same sort of level as the American sprints at the moment. So, and the fact that we've got, I can't see now, but I think it was like 3 or 4 under the 50 second mark is awesome. What's that? Oh, you're looking at that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think you need to kind of.
I mean, we've got some young stars. I mean, Jacob Whistle's still 17. The fact that he's going 49.7 as a 17-year-old is. I mean, I'd love to have gone that time at 17. I mean, I've loved to have gone that time full stop. But he is definitely one to watch for the future. Matt Rich is only 19 as well. So these boys still have potentially still more growing in them as well. To make them stronger. Still got many years. It's just whether they want to stay motivated and stay in the sport, which is then down to them, of course, and the coaching that they get. And they're in the right places, I think. Jacob's at Davencio, isn't he, with Jamie Main?
I believe so, yeah.
Matt Richards down at Bath. So, yeah, I mean, they're in the right places, I think. So hopefully, fingers crossed, future looks bright for freestyle sprinting. Of course, we've got Ben Proud as well in the 50. So we've got many sprinters, many names that we could pull out the hat.
Yeah.
Right, we're towards the end of the finals session here. 100 breaststroke for the women. So we've got 3 para swimmers here. Grace Harvey is swimming. Louise Fidders is swimming, and we've got Maisie Summers-Newton as well. Maisie and Grace are both S6s, and then Louise in the middle is an S14 swimmer. Maisie is the British record holder in this race, 133.4. She went 135.5 this morning. So we might be seeing a good British record here potentially. That'd be nice. She'd have to drop about 2 seconds, which swimmers have done. So hopefully that would be quite nice. Louise is slightly off on the British record, which was swam by Bethany Firth. That's a pretty good time, isn't it? 112.8. And then Grace has got a 142.5, and she swam a PB actually this morning, a massive PB based on what we've got here. Her PB before was 150, and then she's gone 142 this morning. So wow, awesome. But yes, so obviously this is because there's a mixed classification. We're going to have to be looking at the points towards the end. Whoever's nearest the world record will ultimately win the race. And because we've got Maisie and Grace in the same category, then because the points will be exactly the same in terms of the world record, obviously, it's whoever wins the race for them.
Yeah, so we had Jack Bridge kind of explain that to us, didn't we?
Yes, yeah.
In our latest podcast. Or not latest podcast, a recent podcast.
One of the recent ones, yeah.
Yeah.
But, my thing's gone. But yes, so do expect that Louise will be absolutely miles ahead, just because she isn't as disabled. She's in a higher category than the other 2 girls.
And Maisie Summers-Newton is the British record holder in this, isn't she? Is she the world record holder as well? Ooh.
I'm not sure about the world record. I haven't got that written down, but she's definitely the British record holder.
Yeah.
She's potentially the one to, because she's in the same category as Ellie Simmons, isn't she? So she's almost the one to pass over the torch, if that makes sense. She's the one to
she's the new up-and-coming star of British swimming. She's not quite the new one, but she's getting there.
She's getting there. Oh, absolutely, yeah. But as expected, Louise is streaking ahead here. But it all comes down to the points, which we can't see until the end when they touch the wall, of course. But yeah, it would be great to get Jack on. Giles Long would be fantastic to get on the
any other guests that anyone can think of for the para trials that we should get on? Obviously, we can't have swimmers who are racing there, or coaches. But anyone else, if anyone has any suggestions, we will reach out to them and try and get them on our live stream to give even more information for you guys.
It'd be great to have Tom McManus on, but I do believe he might be on Paul's side. So yeah,
okay.
I don't know. We'll see. So Louise finishes in a 118, is that, or 119? My phone is so
18, I believe. It's not helpful with the blue and white on a blue pool, is it? No,
I know. The graphics designer needs help because even the clock at the bottom's gone again. Such a terrible shame, but never mind. So Maisie's gone 135.3 quicker than this morning, and Grace has gone 1 second quicker than this morning. And then if you look on the points there, so even though Maisie effectively came second, she touched the wall in second, she ends up winning the race.
Yeah. Because she was closest to the world record.
In her classification, yeah.
Correct.
All right, 100 breaststroke again, but it's for the able bodies.
Now, I think this is going to be a very close race because Sarah Vasey has been seemingly targeting this 100 breaststroke in every single race that she does, whether it's an actual 100 breaststroke or whether it's a 200 breaststroke.
Yeah, I mean, she knows she's not going to be competing for the 200 breaststroke title because of Molly Renshaw, of course, and then you've got Jocelyn as well. So she might as well target the 100 where she's got the best chance of making the Tokyo team. Absolutely, why not?
So in every kind of heat swim for the 200, she always goes for that time in the 100, which is allowed.
It is, yeah. Well, you're allowed to get an official time, aren't you?
Yeah.
As long as you finish the race, I think. If you just get DQ'd, I don't know if it then is allowed. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I think you do.
Have I ever done it?
I've done it once.
I've gone first in a relay to do it before.
That's allowed, yeah. But of course, then your relay team finish the race. I think you have to finish the race in order for your time to be official. I think. I'm not quite sure. I'm not sure. I don't know.
I'll tell you what, there's some homework for you before tomorrow's feed.
Oh, lovely. Thanks a lot for that. But here they are. They're walking out now. So lane 1, Kayla van der Merwe. Lane 2 is Katie Matz. 3, Cara Hanlon. 4 is Sarah Vasey. 5, Molly Renshaw. 6, Jocelyn Hewlett. Imogen Clarkins in 7. And then Lily Booker is in lane 8. A lot of talent here.
That proves what you were saying about Lily Booker's breaststroke earlier.
Yeah.
I'm the IM this earlier on. It feels like this morning. It isn't this morning.
I know. That's how long this session's gone on.
It's gone dark outside.
I know. Yeah. But yeah, so,
I think sub 107 wins this, but I don't think anyone will get there. I think it'd be a 107.2.
Do you reckon? Sarah Vasey went 175 this morning. I think she'll go very similar time, actually. Someone to watch out for is Cara Hanlon. She did go out fast this morning, and then I think she paid for it towards the end.
Okay.
Whether she'll do the same tactic as what she did this morning, not sure. I would say to watch out for Lily Booker. She is a very good breaststroker, but more suited to the 200.
Okay.
She's got a PB of 109, but she went 111 this morning. In fact, actually, if you look through all of it, everyone was about 2 seconds off their personal best from this morning.
Yeah.
So if they can get PB +1 or on PB, then it's a very good swim. Can't complain about it. But I think Imogen Clark is a dark horse down at the bottom as well. Don't forget about her.
I think she'll go out like a rocket. She's a 50. Oh, that start is good. Yeah, she's a 50 swimmer, isn't she?
Yes, yeah. Very powerful. I think I remember when it was the first lockdown and she was doing some dry land exercises.
Yeah.
Some of the most explosive exercises ever. Jesus, really quite a strong swimmer.
So Sarah Vasey's taking it out hard as expected, and you'd kind of expect Molly Renshaw to bring it back because she is the 200 swimmer.
Yes, but I don't know if she's got enough to bring it back to beat Sarah Vasey.
Long glide to the wall by Molly Renshaw.
But as expected, Imogen Clark is somewhere near the front, and whether she then holds on to the pace is the big question, really. But yeah, I suppose Molly Renshaw will come back at them, but I just don't think she'll have enough to make up that, half a bod length.
You may be right, just. Yeah, you caught it. So what time are we going here? Is that a 106? 107.02.
Oh, there you go. So what did I say?
0209.
Yeah.
So it's an improvement from this morning.
In fact, most of them have all gone about a second quicker than this morning, which is exactly what you want. We bang on about it all the time. You do want to progress through the rounds. So if you were to treat this as a semi-final, and then hopefully when you get to the final, you go another seconds, that would be the ideal, obviously. Doesn't happen every time, but that would be the target to do, which these swimmers are. 67.0, that's pretty good for Sarah Vasey, actually.
Yeah.
That's only 0.2, 0.3 off her PB. She should be pretty happy with that.
And we're on to the final race of the night.
The final race.
So before we get on to our final race, it gives us a chance to remind everyone that if you have any questions, let us know. We will answer them for 5-10 minutes after our live stream finishes. Whether it's about swimming, whether it's about propulsion swimming, whether it's about the racing you've seen tonight, we don't mind. We'll chat about anything for a little while.
Yep. Literally anything. It could be, as long as it's swimming related, because my knowledge doesn't go much further out of swimming. But anything to do with propulsion, anything to do with tonight's swims, the future swims, the Olympics, anything you like. Okay,
so I think there's only one name to look forward to in this final, or to pay it. Well, actually, no, I lie, because Ed Mildred and Jacob Peters both have PBs. +2 from Jimmy Guy, but Jimmy Guy at the Manchester International looked mighty impressive in an event his dad claims he doesn't train for.
It was a very good swim. It actually was one of the highlight swims of the meet, actually. Kind of because I think he got everyone by surprise. I wasn't expecting him to go anywhere near his PB. For him to go 156 is a very, very good time. I don't know if it was the fastest in the world at that point. I'm not so sure, but very good swim either way. Ed Mildred is one to look out for. I think he's only 18, and the fact that he's going 158.6 is a very good time. So hopefully he sort of hangs on Jimmy Guy's hips and pushes himself a little bit further, because they all took it extremely easy this morning.
So their heats times this morning, to put it into perspective, was a 2:03. So for Jimmy Guy, that's PB plus 8.
Yeah, I mean that's yeah. Well, we talked about it.
The size says it all.
But I mean, you guaranteed a final. I mean, I suspect doing 200 fly twice in one day would be pretty tough, but these guys should be quite used to doing this sort of training anyway. Yeah. So do expect all of those times to be much quicker. Mark Ford went 2:10. His PB is 2:06. So he's +4 as well. So yeah, they're all going to go quicker. It's just the big question is how much quicker do they go?
Yeah. So James Guy at the Manchester meet, did he go a 156?
I think he went a 156. Yeah.
So anything around that mark would be good. I'm expecting a little bit slower.
Yeah. I mean, 157, 158 I'd be pretty happy with that. I mean, that would be a PB for most. If Ed Mildred could get anywhere near 159, basically just keep up with Jimmy Guy, stay on his hip for the whole race, and then the time will happen.
Yeah.
Effectively.
Jimmy Guy has been taking out these 200 flies quite hard recently, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's kind of doing the Chad tactic, which I would never recommend, but he knows his body better than anyone else. So he will do what he wants to do, and it paid off last time when he swam it.
Yeah.
I thought he would really suffer towards the end, but he was able to hold technique and form. Normally, when you get tired, you slip the water more, especially on a fly. But he's able to hold it. I mean, testament to his training, his coach, and the work he's doing behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's going to do the same tactic again here.
What's he going to be turning on here? A 53?
Bit more, 54.
54. The clock is not synced up properly, I swear.
No, it's not. It's like 2 seconds out. It was yesterday as well. It's painful.
Really
painful.
Weird. This is a professional swimming meet. You would never see this at like the American level. But obviously they have a bit more money pumped into it. But
you just wouldn't see it in any professional sport. I mean, even if I watch the darts sometimes, the graphic does mess up sometimes, but they put it down and then within 10 seconds, 20 seconds, they then put it back up properly. But yeah, anyway.
That turn at 150 from Jimmy Guy looked very laboured. He glided into that.
Yeah, he looks all right to me. He looks okay. Hips are still coming out high, still reaching forward as much as he can. Ed Mildred's doing a good swim over there in lane. Where is he? Lane 3.
3, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, we might be looking for a 156 here. I think he has.
Tying up towards the end quite a lot there.
156.7.
Yeah,
so same sort of time as last week. That's a good swim. That's a very
he's doing very well at the moment, isn't he? He really is. He's kind of taken me by surprise quite a lot at the moment. Very good swims. 156.7. I can't remember what he did last time, but it must be something around that sort of time.
Yeah.
But I think the main talking point would be that he doesn't swim. He doesn't train for this event.
Apparently not.
He's probably targeting the 200 free and the 100 fly, I would have thought.
Yeah, so the 200 free is tomorrow, of which I would say there's 6 swimmers going into that who are...
Oh boy, that's a monster race, isn't it?
I'm looking forward to that one tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay, so that rounds up the racing this evening. There has been some really impressive swims, a few British records on the para side of things. I think Kathleen Dawson's 100 backstroke was mighty, mighty impressive.
Yes, yeah. Lots of PBs on
that swims for you.
Lots of PBs on the para side. Rhys Dunn in his 50 got a British record, 50 back. British record. Tony Shaw impressed me as well. British records for her. But yes, I mean, good swims all around, actually. I mean, I don't think anyone swam really, really badly. I mean, everyone seems to be on the right sort of track. Everyone is around about the same PB +2, give or take. So they're all in the right sort of mark at the moment in terms of their training. So it's all good.
Okay, so before we finish the live stream tonight, we do have one very important question. And I think I know your answer to this one. Do you feel that GB have a realistic chance of finishing first over the US in the 4x100 medley relay? Now,
Blimey.
Can I jump in?
Yeah, go on.
I say yes, purely based on Luke Greenbank.
Yes, I would have thought so.
Before the past 2 meets, I would have said no. Because the backstroke is just too far off Ryan Murphy. But the form that Luke Greenbank looks to be in, I think he may just keep us there or thereabouts.
Well, his job is to keep up with Ryan Murphy, basically, so that we hand over to PC to get PC back into the lead, and then Jimmy's job is to then hold off Dressel, and then let Duncan do the job at the end, which is what Duncan did in the Worlds, didn't he, in Gwangju?
I think based on Luke Greenbank's form right at this moment, then yes. But Ryan Murphy is just a tiny bit good.
He's a little bit good. I mean, Greenbank is more suited to the 200, and we need him to be good at the 100. Backstroke's always been one of our weakest strokes in this medley relay. I think guaranteed silver. I'm
interested to see what breaststroker comes out of American trials, whether it's Cody Miller, whether it's Nick Fink, or maybe even Michael Andrew might throw a bit of a surprise in the works because he won the San Antonio meet. I know he's now targeting 100s and 200 IM. He's kind of hoping to transition away from the 50s. So I think that one is a bit of a... That's obviously where they're going to lose a lot of time. Let's put it bluntly. That's where everyone's going to lose a lot of time. So it comes out of American trials for that leg.
Yeah, I mean, guaranteed PT will go 56 for that breaststroke split, which will be 2 or 3 seconds quicker than everyone else in the pool.
Which will counteract the Ryan Murphy.
Yeah, I mean, if Luke Greenbank can be within 2 seconds, then we've got a fantastic shot.
Yeah.
Ideally less than 2 seconds. Because Dressel's going to do what Dressel does, and it's up to Jimmy to keep up with him. But if we can touch the wall first for Duncan Scott to dive in, I do believe we win it. Okay. It's a tough one. It'll be fantastic to watch. But hopefully, I mean, I'm going to be screaming if I can watch it.
At 1 in the morning, I'm sure your girlfriend would really appreciate you waking her up at 1 in the morning a medley relay.
I think she'd understand.
You reckon?
Even though she's not British or anything. But
do you know what I might do? I might get you to film like a live reaction video of not you, of her when you're screaming.
Oh no, she won't like that at all. Bless her.
Right. Thank you everyone for joining us on tonight's live stream from Propulsion Swimming. I really hope you've enjoyed it. It's something that we love doing. We are big swimming fans, as hopefully you can tell by now. This is something we are planning to do for the foreseeable future. Thank you for everyone's engagement and for their comments and questions during the live stream. We really appreciate it. And we will see you all again tomorrow at 5:20 for hopefully a little bit of a less hectic schedule.
I know, we did rattle through those races in the end, didn't we? But the 1500 is not on. The women's 800 will be on tomorrow, mind you. So it probably won't be as long, but hopefully the racing will still be just as good though. So yes, we'll see everyone tomorrow.
Yeah. So thank you very much from myself, Scott, and from Dan. If you haven't subscribed yet to the Propulsion Swimming YouTube channel, please do so. And we will see you tomorrow.
We'll catch you later on.
Bye.